God, I'm telling you, my dogs are barking today.
But man, my dogs are barking.
Welcome into the My Dogs Are Barking podcast, and welcome to State of the Dogs, week number 2, where we are looking at Mississippi State's first game in week 1 versus Eastern Kentucky and giving a preview for the upcoming game at Arizona State. But alongside with me, as always, is Austin. Austin and I were both at the game, and so we were just like you guys. If you were there and you were just absolutely drenched by the end of it, we were right there with you. But Austin, what was it like, man, finally being back kind of getting football season back in the swing?
Yeah, man, it was awesome. Last week I said that, we needed excitement, and that's exactly what we got. It was absolutely awesome to be back in Davis Wade. I think about like 49,000 people were there. It was great. The crowd was great for week 1. Jeff Lebby's first game. I didn't know how the crowd would be, and honestly, I mean, they definitely blew out my expectations. It was so loud. It was so exciting when that first quarter hit. Everybody was so excited, and it was, even though the rain wasn't on our side, it was still such a great time.
Yeah, it was, and Mississippi State got the win over Eastern Kentucky, over the Colonels. The Bulldogs looked really good. The offense from the very get-go, from the very start, was looking good. Blake Shapen ended up throwing for 247 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was 15 of 20 for the game, averaged about 12.5 yards per completion. And a QBR of 90.4. Jordan Mosley, as we see there on the catch, he was huge, man. He had a very good game. He's a guy that the transfer from Northwestern a couple of years ago, but really has not been able to kind of be in the full swing of things. And we got to see him early on be a main factor for the Bulldogs. Overall, this team dominated from start to finish. Really, the only thing that was maybe discouraging was allowing Eastern Kentucky to score there towards the end of the first half. But outside of that, I mean, the offense looked really good. Austin, you mentioned it. Give us some of the rushing statistics. You mentioned something interesting on the leading rusher for MSU.
Yeah, obviously you talked about, us being able to just, throw the ball so well. I mean, Blake Shapen was absolutely throwing dimes. It was so fun. But I mean, also Blake Shapen led the game in rushing. He had 7 carries for 44 yards, and he had that rushing touchdown, which was so cool. And like, as much as we did such a great job passing, we definitely struggled in the run game for sure. I mean, I know it's a lot of those guys' first game, in Starkville, but going into SEC play and for sure on Saturday, this game at Arizona State, and we got to establish the run game, early, and obviously just get it going throughout the whole game. But I mean, when you have Blake Shapen and he took a couple shots while he was running too, so you definitely don't want Blake Shapen to be running all over it. But I mean, he did such a great job, but we gotta keep Blake Shapen healthy. So we definitely need our running backs to step in and play a much bigger role for these another 11 games that we have.
Yo, you're right. Yeah, and Shapen, you mentioned it. He there was a couple shots he took that, man, they were very discouraging and honestly very nerve-wracking. He has to stay healthy, or really this season is probably a wash for what it could be, Yeah. But it was good to see so many different dynamic players. And I'll say this, there's a lot of people that caught the ball during this game. Mario Craver had a huge play, 54-yard touchdown that he made look just easy, and that was his only catch. That was his only catch that he made. Then he had a touchdown whenever he caught the blocked punt that JP Purvis blocked. He's a guy that's going to be huge. Kevin Coleman had 5 catches for 88 yards and a touchdown. Jordan Mosley, 5 catches for 104 yards. And of course, you did not have Kelly Akari, big play Kelly A, in this game. He was injured. And today, Jeff Lebby mentioned that he is on a better track, but he did not seem certain that he was going to be playing on Saturday. So that's got to be a little worrisome. There was 3 total fumbles that were lost by running backs. Kayvon Lee, or not lost, but fumbled. Kayvon Lee fumbled once. Johnny Daniels fumbled twice. Now how much of that is because or due to the weather? That's certainly a part of it. There's no way that's not a part of it. It was it was coming down for a while. Otherwise, I think Shapen also would have thrown, for even more yards, but the ball's wet. A little slippery. So overall, offensively, got to be pleased with the game. Defensively, you only held them to 7 points. But I thought, and we'll finish on this note before we move on to to Arizona State. I did think that Eastern Kentucky moved the ball down the field a little more than I was expecting. What about you?
Yeah, we really came clutch. I feel like on 3rd and 4th downs, we really did a great job. But yeah, they had a couple I don't want to say explosive, but they had a couple big plays that didn't really like end up for anything, but I feel like our secondaries really got to wake up and like I said, that was only Eastern Kentucky. We got to really lock in for the rest of this season because this is, those Eastern Kentucky wide receivers are not who we want to be playing with or against all season long. So yeah, there was definitely a couple times I was like, dang, we got to clean that up. So there's a lot of stuff we definitely need to be working on and touching up, in practice for this the rest of the season for sure.
Absolutely. And this Saturday, Mississippi State's going to be taking on Arizona State. Arizona State had their first game of the season on Saturday night playing against Wyoming, and they absolutely destroyed the Cowboys from Wyoming. Defensively, they played really well. They won the game 48-7, but honestly was a late touchdown by Wyoming, so they almost pitched a shutout. Sam Levitt, the Michigan State transfer quarterback, had 258 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. He was 14 of 22. He not overly efficient, but not overly efficient. Yeah. Started the game off fairly hot. Running the ball, they had 241 yards rushing, which is very good. But listen to this: the amount of people that had 25 yards or more. Let's see, Kyson Brown 25 yards, Jason Brown Jr. 33 yards. Let's see, 33. Yeah, Sam Levitt had 47 yards rushing himself. DeCarlos Brooks, 47 yards. Cam Scatabo, 49 yards. They had a lot of different people getting the ball, and they're going to try to run the ball as efficiently as possible. They really did shut down Wyoming's offense all throughout the game. So coming into this game now, today where we sit, it is Monday afternoon, and Arizona State currently is a 6.5-point favorite hosting Mississippi State. It's a late kickoff, 9:30 Central. What are your thoughts going into this game, Austin?
Yeah, both teams played really, really well on Saturday. I felt that we played well, but also, we were playing Eastern Kentucky and we dropped 56, but they were playing Wyoming, a little bit better team, and they dropped 48 on them. So I'm a little nervous going into the game. I'm not really not knowing exactly how I'm feeling. It was Eastern Kentucky. That's what I keep trying to tell myself. I'm trying to hype myself up, but then again, I'm trying to humble myself and just say, hey, it's Eastern Kentucky, because I got to chill with the just the overreaction. But yeah, I'm nervous for this Arizona State team, and if they have a good defense, I think that it might be a low scoring game. It matters how our defense is playing, obviously, because we got to stop the run. Our linebackers got to be really big for this game, because like you said, they had all those guys. You can look on the box score at their rushing, and it's just a million guys who had carries. So they really like to spread it around and give it to all their playmakers. So we got to really, really work on just stopping the run, and we got to watch a lot of film, because I don't know how it's going to be a very tough game to win. And this is a 9:30 kickoff all the way across the country, all the way in Arizona. It's going to be very tough for the Dogs. And this is Jeff Lebby's first game on the road, our team's first game on the road this season. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm very, very excited for it. It's going to be a very late night on Saturday, but I look forward to it. But I don't know. I'm still up in the air about it. It's kind of a big question mark for this game. They're favored 6.5, and honestly, right now, I like that. I think that's good, and I'll take that. But I still obviously have a lot of faith in the Dogs, and if Blake Shapen keeps playing like that, like he did on Saturday, I'm feeling good about the game.
Yeah, Mississippi State's in for a challenge. I think for Mississippi State fans, this game does not look the way it did 6 months ago. When we thought about Arizona State initially, I think a lot of people, because last season they really struggled, I think a lot of people were thinking, man, this is going to be a game we win easily, even going on the road. I don't think it's the same thing anymore. And I will say, with this game, Mississippi State is really going to see where they are offensively, because as well as they played, they did not establish a running game at all during this game, and they needed to. Thankfully, I mean, Blake Shapen was very efficient with the ball, very careful with the ball, but like running the ball wise, Kayvon Lee started the day off. It just, for whatever reason, did not look like he could get into a groove, did not have a lot of speed coming out of the backfield. Davon Booth was better running the ball, but nothing explosive. And then Johnny Daniels, the guy that you think is going to play a good bit, man, he fumbles twice. So there's a lot of things they're going to have to work on this week. I think if Mississippi State is going to win this game, I think truly they need to rush for at least maybe 175 yards. Like they need a big game running the ball. And the question is, Wyoming could not throw the ball. Well, is that because Arizona State's defense is just that good? Or, did they just really struggle? But both quarterbacks did not play great. So going into this game, Austin, it is, like we mentioned, it is at Arizona State, starts at 9:30 Central. What are your overall predictions score-wise? Give us a score prediction heading in to this game, knowing by the way that Arizona State's favored by 6.5.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, like both teams, like you said, they didn't really play any really good competition, so you don't really know how good their offense and defense is, and so it could really go either way. I really wouldn't be surprised either way. I think that it's just hard to say that I'm just feeling so good about our offense right now. I mean, it was just so exciting to watch. It felt so good. And I don't know. I mean, I'm giving it to the Dogs. I think we're going to start the year 2-0. I think on the road, I think that's going to be the biggest challenge. We might not come out ready to go, and I'm nervous for that, but I got the Dogs. I think that they're going to, stop their offense enough where we can stay in the game offensively, and I think that we come out on top. But I mean, I'm very nervous for the game. I'm going to be extremely excited for the game. Like I said, 9:30 kickoff. But give me the Dogs. I say we start the year 2-0, and we go into conference play here pretty soon the next week. And so I think going into conference play 2-0 would be so great for Jeff Lebby, and I think it would really put the season in the right direction for sure.
Any score prediction right now? Vegas has the over/under total at 57.5 points total. They think it's going to be scored, so they think it's going to be one of those 30-27 type games.
Yeah, that's what I saw that too. I mean, I think that's a lot of points for both of these offenses. I think both of these offenses are just against proven talent. I mean, obviously it's just not there, but I'm gonna say 31 to 31-24. I think it's gonna be about a 7-point game. But give me the Dogs. I feel good about it.
Yeah, I was gonna mention my score total is right around there. It's funny you said that. Mississippi State, they're in for a hard game. I mean, Bulldog fans I've seen in several forums have mentioned like they're thinking they're going to win this game by double digits. And man, that's pretty presumptuous. Like this, Arizona State is not a bad team. Remember, their head coach Dillingham, he was an offensive coordinator at Oregon and was really creative last season, inheriting an absolute mess. I mean, I think they only won 3 games, but they were close in several games against USC, against Colorado, against much better competition. So he knows how to get his guys, his playmakers, the ball. And as we mentioned, you've already seen on the show earlier, a lot of different people touch the ball for Arizona State on Saturday. So that's going to be interesting. If you have some, sorry, I'll get to that in a moment. Overall, I'm going to take Mississippi State in this game 31-25. So almost right at yours. I think it's going to be really close. But for State to win, I think it's going to be a late touchdown. And I just think it's going to be Blake Shapen's experience is what prevails them. But either way, because of this Bulldog offense, I don't see a scenario where Mississippi State gets blown out if they lose this game. I really do think this game is going to be close. Either way, I think Arizona State seems like their defense can hold up with the best of them as well. So it's going to be close. I was going to mention just a moment ago, if you did not have an opportunity to check it out already, earlier in the season, we had a preview of this game for Mississippi State versus Arizona with the Stomp the Bus podcast. Mm-hmm. I really hope I'm correct on that. That's the Arizona State podcast. They are the representative for the College Huddle. And we previewed this game. We went through and had some great insider information on the Arizona State side where we interviewed the host of that show. So go back and watch that. That is going to give you a little preview into this. He even gave us an indication on what it would take for Arizona State to win this game and what it would take for Mississippi State to win this game. So, man, it is going to be great to see Mississippi State in that scenario. All in all, were you pleased with the Dogs on Saturday, Austin?
I was. I said last week in the first episode of State of the Dogs, I said that I don't want to be nervous during the game. Third quarter rolls around, I don't want to be feeling nervous, and I didn't. I didn't feel that really at all during the game. I think we scored on the third play of the game. Huge touchdown to Jordan Mosley, and I was feeling absolutely fantastic. And then we just kept them that first half. Other than that last drive, I felt like we played really good defensively, and we just never gave them a chance to come back or stay in the game. And so I'm feeling really good coming on Saturday. Like I said, so excitement. It was such a joy to be there. Felt so good being back in Davis Wade, and it really was showtime. It was everything that Jeff Lebby advertised, and I hope going into the rest of the season, it remains like that. But it was an absolute blast. I hope that everybody watched. I hope y'all had such a good time with the game. If you weren't there, I hope you can catch the next game. And yeah, but it was such a lovely time. It was awesome. Great to be back in Davis Wade for sure.
Yeah, definitely had a good presence. A lot of entertainment. The DJ added in. The DJ being a part of the game day experience was good. Just kind of an upgrade. Had Jeffrey Simmons ringing the giant cowbell to kind of start the game. So it looks like they'll have kind of a representative each week to ring the cowbell to kind of get everybody fired up. So it's going to be fun. And we're going to be here each week to break it down on State of the Dogs, our weekly podcast here on the My Dogs Are Barking podcast. So we thank everybody so much for tuning in. Hey, if you have a chance, our Twitter account, or X account, whatever you want to call it, has really been growing, and we would really love for you to give us a follow. It's just at My Dogs DAWGS Pod, My Dogs Pod on Twitter. But we've had a lot of interaction with you guys, and really do appreciate it. Our audience is growing on there, but also it's growing on YouTube. If you're not already subscribing, go ahead and subscribe. We have gained 30 subscriptions here in this last month and a half or so. And we want to continue to grow with you guys. So we always appreciate you guys listening. So take it easy. Have a great rest of your week. Get excited, because this weekend is Mississippi State and Arizona State. We thank you so much for listening to the My Dogs Are Barking podcast.